He took Jared, and that's all he wanted was for us to have a new life to him. Yes, it was the only choice to bring you all back.
You gave up your brother?
I didn't kill us.
You can't do this.
Look, all he wanted was for us to have new love and life.
Jared?
Jared!
I thought you were dead.
You sent me back alive.
Thank you guys. He's really good.
Listen, everyone. Because of the faith and the hope and love that Jessica has brought, you are all now alive. And we can survive and live together and learn by example.
I love you too. I love
You see it now? And the dragon needs to be legs. Yes.
George, right? Sorry, I was so
Peace. Peace.
He wanted us to have peace.
From long ago, remember?
Yes, the peace ritual. May peace be below us. May peace be above us. May peace be all around us. May peace be before us. May peace be behind us. May peace be within us.
I think this calls for a celebration, right? Yeah! It's the Gemini Festival!
Let's celebrate!
Questions you have for them, any observations, you can all sit and get comfortable. Anything about the work that we do, or Steiner, or Chekhov, or what their experience was like, anything that you might want to ask.
All right, you guys might want to ask that.
Yes, I want to ask them a question about what they experienced.
Yeah, how was it?
I like the character change, people changing roles, because it takes a second.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, now you Jessica.
The improv with the rhythmics is not the word.
So close. With the speech gestures.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought that would work really well in the classroom.
It's all improvised on the fly, right? How do
You
you...
can tell them something that happened this round that has never happened before.
So we have like set points, and one of those set points was Jessica actually set up got her brother to fight so that she could sacrifice herself, but in the stage combat, it happened that Jared got cut first. So we had to swap what we practiced for 2 days now, that Jared stayed up in the cave and Jessica came down.
When it was always the other way.
It was always the other way around.
Well, you played it off.
Yeah.
How do you read each other's cues? Would you have eye contact, or just a lot of practice?
It's a lot of practice. We have like a strong sense of ensemble. A lot of it is nonverbal communication. Eye contact is a part of that, a strong part of that.
Listening, yeah.
Nice and loud.
Listening is also a big, big part of
Yeah, and
practicing.
part of that ensemble is that we work so hard together to get to know each other and know what, who's inclined to do what, or, kind of feed off each other that way. So it's, you just sort of, and there's a lot of trust involved, because you can't do it if you're just trying to like run it yourself. You have to reach out to everybody else.
And in fact, in that exercise where you saw people following impulses all over the stage, one of the exercises was for them to try to embody someone else's impulses that they've been observing, and what would that person do? So that was like playing a character, but they were playing each other. So that was another way they really got to know what someone might be apt to do.
How do the roles evolve? Because it looked like there was a few central role characters. Does that change every time? Everybody gets a chance to be in
It
a...
changed every time except for the fight scene, because we needed to be safe with that.
Okay.
So the two fighters are certified in stage combat.
Okay.
So everybody had a little lesson in that, but then they obviously have had a lot of work with that. So we thought, well, that part will need to be the same.
But we don't,
Everything else
yeah,
could
we-
change at a moment's notice.
We didn't decide that until last night.
Yeah.
Everyone played the dragon, everyone played Jessica and Jared, everyone played their parents, everyone played the different roles, everyone got to go through all the different roles.
Oh, good.
And even today, like in this performance, the only two parts that we knew we were going to play were the sword fighter, so we didn't know who was going to be the dragon when we walked out into the room today.
Yeah.
How did you decide that?
Someone steps up first.
Just decided, yeah.
If you have a great impulse to do it, follow the impulse.
And definitely not like letting your ego get in the way. So if you had an impulse to be the dragon, but you look up and there are already two people there, not going, get off, I'm the dragon.
And you noticed Stouffer declared himself Jared and was calling for Jessica, and nobody had become Jessica yet. And at that moment, someone was like, okay, I'll be Jessica, so, and then, people would just tap them out and switch out on an impulse. So this configuration, the only set thing was the two people who were gonna do the sword fight. Everything else was completely in the moment, never this configuration before.
And I'm curious, as a result, was the story clear enough? I know sometimes people were all talking at once, but did you get a clear storyline still? Yeah? Okay.
So the story was set, I mean, it was pretty much, there was an outline, there was a skeleton, and every time you do it, you fill it in.
Right, and
But
different
you
things
follow
could
the
happen.
story, you're not improvising the story.
No, if you look outside, and maybe she's gone to get it, we created different events that had to happen. We didn't create dialogue, there's no text for it, it's just that these events have to happen. And how they're created can change every time.
So we sat around a table and went into like a little meditation. And we had a bunch of drawing instruments. And we just had these two sheets on the table. We didn't discuss any topic or subject or anything. We just decided that the story exists in the communal imagination, in the unified field somewhere. And we just kept going back into our imaginations and writing and pouring things on in there. And then we asked ourselves, what is the story? And then we created teams to sort of make up a story out of this. And we discovered that a lot of the teams went into their intellects and came up with stories that only had a few elements of this. And so we said, you know what? Throw that out, because these are like your Legos. And these are the story. Don't add anything to it. Just find as many elements right here, because this is the Legos. This is the set of Lincoln Logs that you bought. And whatever you can make out of this, that's the story. And then we came up with, much more doable, playable, and much more true to these elements. And of course, there's no up and down to how these went. You know, they were just, we were all around the tables. There was no up and down. Just pouring these on. We knew there were spirals, there were stars, there was a dragon, there was a home, there were crazy animals, there was betrayal, there was disguise, there was, you know, blood tear things, there were stop signs, and there was fear, and
Just like your average script.
yeah. So we sort of distilled, and part of the technique is identifying that there are inner conflicts. Everyone has an inner issue with yourself, issues between people, and issues from forces outside. And so we wanted those kinds of conflicts to come up, and for us all to deal with.
So you were trying to dramatize conflict.
Yes, yeah. And if one of our theories is that when you look at a play, and if you think of a good 007 movie, the first big issue is kind of a mano with the bad guy, and he sort of loses. And the second climax is when he falls in love with his girlfriend, the bad guy's girlfriend, and he has to decide whether to kill the bad guy or save the girlfriend, so he saves the girlfriend. And then in the third, final climax, the whole thing is collapsing, the volcano's going off, or the building is sinking into the ocean, and he has to save the girlfriend and kill the guy. So you got all three of those events happening at the same time. So the sense of drama builds and builds and builds. So we look at that, and we start by trying to figure out what is the end we want, and we apply what we call the law of polarity. We try to make the beginning as opposite from that in as many ways as possible. So we make people allow the characters to go through growth and arc.
So how does the cast here feel with their emotions? How do they feel now after doing all this? How do you all feel?
Warmed up.
Warmed up.
For another round.
Ready for more, huh?
Yeah. One of the exercises that we did circles around this chart that we have for training. And part of this Mary will bring this out, part of, everyone here has had previous Chekhov training. This is why this is an advanced course. And has an understanding. So last week, who was here last week for the presentation? Some of you, yes. So last week, the actors learned what each one of these were, and each time they learned one, they put a pink arrow, until by the end of the week, this whole circle was filled up.
Those are emotions? Or
They're different things.
different things?
So they're tools. For example, all things move, all things are in motion, right? Everything's in motion, everything's energy. What's the most basic pattern of energy? What does it do? Closes and opens. Like your heart, the weather, the seasons,
Your wallet.
flowers, your eyes, your mouth, your sex process, right? Expansion, contraction, everything. I can describe any one of you in terms of how expanded or how contracted you are.
Really?
Yeah. And I could say really seriously contracted people might be a 0, and a really open, expanded person might be a 10. And I could look at anybody walking down the street and say, oh, that's a 6, that's an 8, that's a 0. Do it to them right now, Lisa. Right? And then we're all made of earth, water, air, and light. So we learn how to move as if we are made of pure earth, or moving through earth, or if we're water, or if we're flowing, flying like air, or radiating like lightning. And you see throughout this entire process, every single actor was in some struggle moment, some flow moment, some flying moment, some fiery moment. And so as we grow up, we don't use all those things. As we grow up, maybe I only live, if I live in New England, maybe I live in a world of contraction from 2 to 5. If I'm in California, maybe I live from 6 to 10. you know. But I don't use those other things.
How about
so as an
here?
actor, I don't go there. And what we do is we restore through these basic exercises what the energy is, how does it move, why does it move? It moves to push, to pull, to lift, smash, gather. We learn those things. And the emotional stuff is just this one, and these qualities and sensations, which the three sister sensations are based on the law of gravity. When you fall, everyone fall for a moment. Just feel that. What does it look like we're feeling? Despair, grief, exhaustion. But if we float, what's it look like we're experiencing?
Joy.
We're spacey, stoned, yeah. Amazed, awe, shocked, right? And what if we're struggling for balance, trying not to fall, right? Now we're all like totally wired, right? Oh man, we're like freaked, or we're excited, or something like that. And that's just exploring the law of gravity, which is the law of physics that affects us the most. And every character is, what if we fall up one arm up? You can do this, and let an arm fall up, and now let it fall in love. Let an arm fall up, you can do this. Let it fall for that old trick. Right, so the fall itself doesn't mean anything particular, but you can color it. And spaces have a vibe in them. Like, have you ever stepped in an elevator with two people who are in there, and you can tell whether they know each other and whether they like each other? Are they staring at the ceiling like it's the Sistine Chapel? Right? Or is there an easy space in there? And these spaces are so important to us as human beings. We decorate our homes, we choose which car we're going to buy, we decide which movie we're going to go see, what restaurant to go to, who we're going to hang out with, to be in an atmosphere of good vibes or to avoid ones we don't like. So we learn that the space has a vibration and it can charge the actor. And the actor doesn't have to ever generate the actual emotions themselves. They never need to turn to anything in their personal life. They move with the quality of that, and they breathe with it. They breathe the breath of grief, the breath of joy, and they move with it, and it starts to awaken it. And we have special training just for artistic centeredness. We train ourselves to recognize beautiful forms, to move as if things are easy even when they're really hard, to pretend things are easy and beautiful, and that things are whole and complete. Right? To pretend even the worst mistake is perfect. Never let them see you sweat.
Like when the wrong twin gets stabbed.
Yes, when the other twin gets stabbed, it's perfect. And so with this, every day, we had a team of people, 2, 3, or 4 people, who in about 15, 20 minutes, without speaking, led the entire ensemble through the entire circle. We call it a whip through. And every single person led this week, led us all in these. And we did this every single day as a warm-up to reawaken. Thank you, Mary. This is our 27th year offering this program. Will was able to initiate this program back in 1994 in Maine, after he arranged for myself and our other founder, Mala Powers, to co-teach a day at the Association for Theater and Higher Education. It was the first time a Michael Chekhov workshop had ever been offered at any sort of teaching conference globally, ever. And the response from that was so strong that Will went back and created an opportunity for us to do this. Some of you might recognize the name of Mala Powers. If you ever saw anyone here see the Cyrano de Bergerac, the original 1950s movie with Jose Ferrer, the beautiful Roxanne. Beautiful Roxanne. She had a Golden Globe nomination for that performance, and we worked together for 18 years before she passed. But she was the executor of Michael Chekhov's estate and one of our great partners and mentors there. So, yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about the National Michael Chekhov Association. We're the first organization, Chekhov-based organization, to create a teacher certification track, and we have this year introduced the director certification track. We have so who's certified teacher here? Anyone is certified teacher track? Yes, and certified director track, and certified actor track. Yes, so we have quite a collection of people, and we have teachers in India, in Israel, in where's Shpikovka, in Latvia, and
Denmark.
Yes, in Denmark, and yeah, many places around the world, as well as in the region.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In case you have informal questions you want to come up and ask us, but thank you all so much for being here, because we do it for an audience, and great to share it with you, so thank you so much.
Thank
Good at that. Any questions too? All right, we got to see you guys at the party. You know Will, right? Just go over to this party. We're going to pick up some food at the market and then just go right over there. Because it looks like a nice crowd. So hope to see you there. See you. Nice to meet you, Lenova. Hope to see you there. Hi, Teresa.
Thank you so much for coming. So the opera, tell me about that, because I didn't know,
Well, it's an arts council, and it's a program, and Century Opera has been doing it for the last 3 years. But the music director out of Centennial was working with them, and now it's $40,000. And she did a fabulous job.
He does too.
You know, there were kids from, there was 2 colleges, and a couple times she had a 20-minute presentation. This was a week longer, and they also introduced it better and talked about a little bit of stuff. And we were all done on the stage.
but they performed.
They wrote it crazy. They did it. It's a really good process where they start out Joseph, yeah.
I know him. I mean, I don't know the person, but
I got it.
it's
Gave up?
Sorry. Oh, yes. Well, we're glad you all came and you all enjoyed it.
You move like a dancer. You must be a dancer, are you?
I'm not.
You're not because you move like a dancer. Yeah, that's good. No, I mean, yeah, it was really fun. It was really enjoyable. Thank you. And you definitely move like a dancer, so keep on doing it. Keep doing it. That was just fucking shot.
Pleasure to meet you, sister. Thank you so much.
Like a version of
It's all right.
This is Stouffer from New Zealand.
Hi, Chris Stouffer.
Or Stouffer, one of those.
It's gonna be Stouffer.
It's gonna be.
Not legally.
Soon. He was here for all 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll get to it. Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Somewhere.
Veils. It would be awesome. All the veils. And this is one, and there should be 12 in here. Yes.